بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله قال: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: وعليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به، وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء، أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل: يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. الأعلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله. إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء، فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله هما، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا. وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. سورة مباركة الفاتحة.
محمد والے محمد صلوات. ہوائے کرم کب چلاؤ گے مولا، دیے ظلم کے کب بجھاؤ گے مولا، یہ غیبت کہاں تک بھراؤ گے مولا، کب اپنی زیارت کراؤ گے مولا، کراؤ گے مولا، کراؤ گے مولا، کب اپنی زیارت کراؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب اپنی زیارت کراؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، جدائی میں کب تک رلاؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، ہوئی ایک مدت ستم سہتے سہتے، زباں تھک چکی الجل کہتے کہتے، زباں تھک چکی الجل کہتے کہتے، ہمیں کب غموں سے چھڑاؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب اپنی زیارت کراؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، عریضوں کو کب تک وسیلہ بنائے، تمہیں حال دل سامنے اب سنائے، تمہیں حال دل سامنے اب سنائے، کب ان فاصلوں کو مٹاؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب اپنی زیارت کراؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، کب آؤ گے مولا، ہلال اور میسم بہاتے ہیں آنسو، سجے ہیں جنازوں کے بازار ہر سو، سجے ہیں आओगे मौला कब आओगे मौला कब आओगे मौला जुदाई में कब तक रुलाओगे मौला कब आओगे मौला कब आओगे मौला भर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलावत
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Sayyid Hasan Rizvi, respected elders, dearest brothers and sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum, Jamii wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For the love of Sayyidah Zaynab, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Surah Fatiha is requested for all marhumin listed on the screen, as well as all other marhumin. Surah Al-Mubarak al-Fatiha. Dua Shfa Maris is requested for all those in need here and elsewhere, as well as those listed on the screen. Let us recite together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakhshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakhshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakhshifu as-su'. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء Ya Allah. Before tonight's Majlis, we have a short video presentation on behalf of Bilal Muslim Mission. If you could please kindly turn your attention to the screens for this video.
Welcome to Bilal Muslim Mission of Kenya, a charitable Muslim organization established in 1972, dedicated to working with children, families, and communities in the rural villages in the coast and eastern provinces of Kenya. The mission serves the less fortunate people residing in the rural villages. Under the Economic Upliftment Program, we provide microfinance and tailoring and dressmaking classes. Financial literacy training and access to interest-free loans has enabled numerous women to generate income, save money, and foster economic independence. Investing in infrastructure to enable access to clean, sustainable water in underserved communities is a priority for us, and 13 fully operational solar-powered water desalination plants have already been installed at our centers. This has opened up a new era of health and safety for communities residing there, with safe water available for drinking, irrigation, and hygiene. This year, the mission accomplished the distribution of 180 tons of maize flour and other essential provisions to thousands of needy families in 40 distinct locations. The advancement of the message of Islam through the teachings of the Holy Quran and the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt remains an elemental function of the mission. Majalis, workshops, and seminars are conducted throughout the year at all of our 15 centers, and programs held at the Bilal Hall in Mombasa are live streamed in an effort to engage the wider community. The months of Muharram, Safar, and Ramadan are especially busy. Our madrasas play an essential role in imparting valuable Islamic knowledge and Quranic skills to children aged between 5 and 18. The mission is passionate about promoting holistic education and enhancing learning opportunities at all our institutions. The 15 pre-primary units are a requisite link between the home environment and primary schooling. The Feed a Child program ensures the provision of warm, milky millet porridge for breakfast. The mission offers its support to local subsistence farmers. Farmers play a vital role in our economy, and the mission offers its support in the fostering of entrepreneurship and the promotion of food security. For online donations, kindly visit our website www.kenbilal.org/donate. For bank transfers, we bank with Habib Bank, AG Zurich, Mombasa. For more details, please contact Brother Hussein Ali Kaki and Brother Hussein Jafar.
Invite Sayyid Hasan Rizvi to please come forward for tonight's Majlis. Bar Muhammad wa al Muhammad salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد معجل فرجهم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. إلا بالله العلي العظيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد صلوات على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل Mu'mineen, mu'minat, brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman, salamun alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight we are celebrating the Wiladat, birth anniversary of Aqilatu Bani Hashim, the Alima, Ghayr Mu'allima, Thaniyatu Zahra, Zaynab al-Kubra, bint Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salatu wassalam. Most of us, we've heard over and over again about how her name itself, Zaynab, is this fadila, right? It's this virtue. And that she's given this name, Zaynab, and one of the meanings of that is that it's a compound word consisting of Zayn and Ab. And Zayn coming from this idea of zinat, of adornment, of decoration, of beauty, and then Ab, of course, meaning father. That she is a decoration, an adornment, an ornament for her father. And we think about this, we hear this, and we use this to talk about her own fada'il, right? That how great and how amazing does somebody have to be in order to be described in this way as an adornment and a decoration and a beautification for somebody like Ali ibn Abi Talib, right? Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And when most people want to try to get that point across about how eloquent she was, how much knowledge she had, and how she was able to carry on the teachings, the message, saying and describing that, look, even when it comes to family relationships, the way that you express our love for us and the way that love needs to be for Allah, even there is a distinction over there, right? And of course, when Imam Ali hears that his daughter, at such a young age, is mentioning something like this, he says, this is something amazing. He embraces her and he gives her a kiss. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Or these other famous stories that have been told, that once Imam Ali alayhi salam is teaching her, going through numbers. So as he's trying to get her to repeat these numbers, he says, okay, say ahad, say one. So she says ahad, she says one. Then he says, okay, now say thani or thaniya, say two. And she remains silent. She doesn't say two. So then Imam Ali asks her, why aren't you saying the number two? Why do you refuse to repeat that? And she says, the reply is that a tongue which pronounces ahad cannot say thani. Someone that says ahad will never say thani, right? Qul huwallahu ahad. She's talking about this ahadiyya and wahidiyya of Allah. And when Imam Ali hears this answer, he says, this is only something that can come from a daughter like mine, right? And he gives her a kiss, embraces her. Now we hear these kind of stories, we're like, yeah, these are amazing. We go through these other, the way the historians report about how she was there teaching tafsir to individuals. And what we talk about and what we hear from this is how much the zinat that she had available, this beautification that she's offering, and how that reflects upon her own qualities, right? I want to come at this from a slightly different angle. And the way that we have to do this is we have to look into a deeper meaning and a more, I'd say, precise meaning of what zinat actually means. So let's jump to the Quran first in Surah As-Safat, Surah 37, Ayah 6. If you can recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allah says there, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna زينا السماء الدنيا بزينة الكواكب. That without a doubt, the zina of the sama dunya, we have adorned it, it says heaven over here, we're talking about skies. We have beautified, adorned, and add these ornaments to the sky with these stars, right? When we think about this idea of zina, right? Usually we hear decoration, adornment, things like that. I want you to keep this idea of accessory in your mind, right? What the stars or the planets, because Kawakib is pretty much any of these celestial bodies, right? Whether stars, asteroids, meteors, anything. Anything that lights up the sky or adds to it. Now, what is the reason that these stars, these planets, moons, why is it actually beautifying the sky? The reason it can beautify the sky is because even by itself, the sky itself has a sense of awe and beauty. It's awe-inspiring, right? Even when you just look out into an empty sky, it's still something that's beautiful. When you add in these accessories, that's what you can say, look at how these extra planets or stars, whatever, have added to the beauty of the sky, which was already beautiful in the first place. And that's the key for zina. Zina, this idea of accessorizing or decorating or adding ornaments, whatever this is that whenever something or somebody already has inherent perfect beauty in it, that's when you can add some sort of zina to there. If that object or that item or that individual does not have any jamal or jamil or is not inherently beautiful, then adding the zina doesn't really mean much. It won't really have that effect. Let me share some examples if you can recite us. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So, Christmas season is upon us, right? And you know how it encroaches closer and closer every year, right? So what happens? Everybody's putting up their decorations already. Right? You'll see that on people's houses, people putting up trees and things like that. So what's the idea? Is on their house, they start putting up lights or some other things. On these trees, they start adding in various types of ornaments and even putting on lights there. Now, if that house at least has some sense of beauty into it, looks okay, and that tree looks okay too, if you add to that, then it only accentuates and adds to the beauty that's already naturally there. But if you have, let's say, a house which is dilapidated, it's falling apart, it's ugly, the colors are off, you can put however many lights you want, you can add however many decorations you want, that's not really going to do much. In fact, it'll actually make the house look even worse. And I'm sure many of you, as we've been driving by, we see these kind of things at Christmas time. That somebody can add all these beautiful lights and these like strobe lights and everything. You're looking at the house like this is disgusting. Like it doesn't actually add any real beauty to it. And a Christmas tree too, right? This Christmas tree it's like tilting over, it's falling apart, there's like brown spots on it, and somebody adds all these ornaments and lights. Like what's the point? The tree itself is ugly. You can try to dress it up as much as you want, but it's actually not helping. Or a clearer example for those of you who are into cars, when you take a nice car and then you add some accessories to it, right? Maybe a nice paint job, rims, or something like that, then it actually brings out the inherent beauty that's already in the car. But what some people do is they buy whatever they can afford, right? Something that should not be decorated like that, where they buy rims that cost more and are more valuable than the car itself, and you're looking at this thing like this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, right? So when you try to add that accessory and that beautification to something that can't be accentuated, then it loses value. And people just kind of call it out too, right? And that's what you see a lot in the dunya right now too. Things that have zero beauty in them. They have nothing but ugliness. And what do people try to do? They just add on top over and over again, trying to add on, right? This is the actual idea by people who put on makeup. The idea behind extensive amounts of makeup is what? Is that inherent beauty is not there, so I have to, literally, what is it called? It's called cover-up, right? What are you trying to cover up, right? What are you hiding? Why are you putting up a facade for everybody else? And normally this was only a point or a conversation for women, but nowadays, unfortunately, men are getting their eyebrows done too, right? Men are putting on makeup. There's a whole line out there, right? That's for the gender neutral and the gender fluid. So things are getting a little crazy out there, right? So that inherent beauty, which should have been there, when it's not there, because that person doesn't have that inherent beauty, they have to start adding on to it. And one of the points that's even, I don't want to fully open it up over here, but this is not just about the physical nature too. This is also about the internal, inherent spiritual beauty that exists in somebody. When that is there and somebody has the eyes to be able to pick these things out, then they'll see two different things. When they see that somebody has inherent beauty, meaning internally, in terms of their personality, their aql, whatever those characteristics happen to be, then they'll realize that they don't need to add on anything on top of that, right? And they'll be able to kind of see that through these proper spiritual eyes. On the other hand, when some people who have that sort of insight, when they see somebody's just trying to cover up, when they see that this person, whether male or female, has no inherent beauty, right? Whatever characteristics or traits that they have, whether it's arrogance or egotism or their nafs just comes out, or they're trying to just have this sense of individualism and spread this evil wherever they go, their aql is weak, whatever it happens to be, then they try to cover it up with many other things, right? With clothes or makeup or speech. They always try to add up something on top of that. But those who have basira, those who have insight, they look at this and say, look, whatever you're trying to cover up, we see past that. We see past this facade and this show that you've put up, and this is not really zinat. This is, again, just a cover up, and this is a fake for something else that hides what? It's hiding and trying to cover up the ugliness that's underneath there. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So now to tie it back to our point. When we hear Bibi Zaynab being a zina for her father, yes, it's her quality, sure, that she's able to manifest these things and she acts in this way. But the reason that she can act as a zinat is really reflecting about how perfect, how kamil, and how beautiful her father is. If her father is not Ali ibn Abi Talib, if her mother is not Fatima al-Zahra, then there's no way that she can have this sort of zinat. It's impossible. So what many individuals try to do is to talk about how great Bibi Zaynab is, which is sure, it's correct, fine. But the only way and the only reason she's able to manifest these qualities is because she's been raised by these two ma'asum individuals. Meaning what? The point about zinat is more about the more about the walidain than it is about the child themselves. So, whereas a lot of people, when they hear this, right, they hear Abiha, right, Bibi Fatima is a mother to her own father. When we hear that Bibi Zaynab is a zinat for her father, what happens is a lot of individuals, especially parents, will say, see, you need to be a zinat for me, right? You need to be like, my caretaker. You have to show everybody, what great qualities I have. What we find is that the problem is that, in two senses, right? The children will always be our accessories. I'm using that word in a neutral sense. They will always accessorize us. When they accessorize us, they're always going to accentuate what you and I bring out as parents. So either we bring out positive qualities, and that's what they're accentuating. In the case of Bibi Zaynab or any of the children of the Ahlul Bayt, that's what they do. They accentuate the qualities of their parents. Or in the case of Zalimeen and Fasiqeen and Munafiqeen, many times the children are what? They're just byproducts of their parents. There is no zina available there. They're just continuing on the legacy of the parents and what they've taught them, what they've observed. And what happens is a lot of parents, when they hear this or they see their child acting this way, they're like, you're supposed to be, an honor for me. I'm supposed to be able to take you around like a trophy child and show you off to everybody else that, you can do this and you're this intelligent, you've got this career and you're doing X, Y, Z, this is your akhlaq, whatever. But deep down, the child, though they may not recognize it themselves, they said, look, I'm an accessory to what you are. So anything that you see in me, whether good or bad, that's coming from you. Now let's bring in some of the points of the Ahlul Bayt which are speaking about this. Let's start first from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. In advice that he's giving to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. He's reported to have said, Ya Ali, la'anallah walidain hamlan walidayhima ala uqubihima. And I know, if you don't know Arabic, at least you got the first part, right? You got the la'nat part in the beginning, right? So he's saying, Ya Ali, Allah's la'nat, His damnation goes on parents who do tahmil. They load their child with disobedience towards them. It's a very interesting phrase that Rasulullah is using. He says that the la'nat of Allah is on a parent who puts this burden of disobedience of the children onto them. Meaning, the reason your child is disobeying you is because you've loaded that burden onto them. It's not coming from them. That is stemmed from somewhere, and it's from the parents. If you see children acting up, speaking back, not with the best akhlaq, Rasulullah is saying that disobedience that you don't like, well, guess where it came from? You were the source there. That's where that came from. And then he continues, Ya Ali, يلزم الوالدين من عقوق والديهما ما يلزم الولد لهما من عقوقهما. He says, the parents are bound by the disobedience of their child, just as the child is bound by the disobedience to them. Right? These two concepts are not disconnected. So the same way that some of us, maybe because of our own disobedience to our parents, if they were still alive, and our child saw that, we just continue on that same thing, and then our children can continue that same sort of idea. we have this separation where we think that we're in the best mode, we're doing whatever we can, and especially in connection with some of the points that we've been mentioning for the past few Thursdays, right? We've been going nonstop about the rights of parents, about the wajib, the amount of how often, or the majority of the time, where parents have to be obeyed, right? We mentioned all this. So what happens is sometimes parents hear this and they start pointing back to their kids. See, you have to obey me, you have to obey me, respect me, respect me. And what happens is sometimes after all of this, the parent thinks what they're doing in demanding that obedience. When that happens and they see their child after a while acting up, it's like, well, what were you actually requesting from them? What were you demanding? What were you commanding them to do? Was it something that was actually beneficial for them? Did you give it to them through some understanding, through some love? Were you actually doing good to them? Or was it just from our own nafs as parents, our own ego, and we were commanding them and telling them doing this and this and this, especially through harsh means, and then when it comes back and bites us, we're like, where did this come from? Where is this disobedience? And then what happens is those same parents, they come to me, right? They're like, my child is disobedient. My child is doing X, Y, Z. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, well, I know where they're getting it from because I've seen the way that you've talked to other people. I've seen the way you've spoken with other community members. I've seen the way that your child looks at you when you're speaking to me too. Where do you think they're getting that from? Don't blame it on public school. Don't blame it on social media. Don't blame it on all these things. The first teachers are going to be the two parents in the house, right? Let me give you some more riwayat. Let's go to two from Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. And as usual, Imam Ali keeps it very short and simple, right? Birru aba'akum yabarrakum abna'akum. He says, simple. Do good to your children and they'll do good to you. It's that simple, right? When they see that doing goodness is the norm in the household, then that's the exact same thing that they're going to reproduce. They observe goodness, they're going to do the same exact thing. Especially if we are actually having, because some people might say, well, I do good things, but my kids don't copy. Well, is it something that is in their face? Are they actually witnessing this happening constantly? If yes, as parents, we're off working too much, we're off having fun, we're away from our kids, and we drop down and say a salam and talk and sit with them and eat with them for like 5-10 minutes, a day, a night, then what do we expect them to pick out? If the majority of the time, yes, they are at school or they're out with their friends or they're watching TV or something on a screen and they're doing something else, then obviously they're not going to pick up whatever we want from them because they're out with other individuals. Parents have to make that specific intentional thing that, no, I need to spend time with my child and to make sure that the time I spend with them is filled with the good acts that I want them to do. I have many parents that come to me and say, my child won't read namaz. They won't pray. My child won't read Quran. My child won't do this amal. They won't do this and this and this. I said, okay, no problem. Do you do these things yourself? Said, yeah, I do them, like in front of them. Well, no, I don't always get a chance to do it in front of them. Like, okay, so they've never seen somebody recite. They've never seen that happen. So where are they going to learn that from? Do you think that you can just give a command and all of a sudden somebody's going to change? I'm like, adults don't do that. And people keep mentioning, like, after Jamaat namaz on Thursdays, we were going through some of the basic rulings, right? And in between Maghrib and Isha, go some of the basic misconceptions, right? Some basic mistakes that some people make. And even when the correction was mentioned, right? About, for example, that it's makruh to raise our voices so that the imam hears it, let alone, other people hearing it too. So that's mentioned. And sometimes we mention it at Maghrib time. And then in Isha time, I swear people have raised their voices even higher, right? So sometimes you can mention all the points that you want to somebody, but simply just saying it and preaching is not enough. When it's practiced and repeated and kindly reminded over and over again, maybe like I just did 5 seconds ago, then maybe it might kind of settle into them. Our kids are not going to be light switches, just like you and I are not light switches too. So the same sort of self-empathy or self-care that we want to do, then we have to have that same sort of openness for our children as well. Another one, and this has to do with the idea of sibling rivalry. Imam is reported to have said, "Mawaddatul aba nasabun bainal abna." When people talk to me about their kids fighting, right? Oh, the two kids don't get along, brothers, sisters, they're always fighting amongst themselves. It's interesting. Imam Ali says, do you know where this stems from? This stems from when the spouses don't get along. When a husband and wife are disagreeing, they're arguing, they're fighting, the kids are going to witness this, and what are they learning? That this is how an argument's supposed to happen. There's two different ideologies that these are possibilities. One possibility, what I've heard some people say is never fight in front of your kids. Don't argue or do anything, go save it somewhere else. Okay, sounds nice on paper. It sounds okay. The problem is this. If kids, especially at a younger age, are all about observational learning, they're supposed to just repeat what they've seen, when are they ever going to learn conflict resolution skills? This is why they say, no, actually have some conflicts and arguments with your spouse in front of your kids. But make sure you're actually doing a good job, right? It's not an actual fight or an argument, and you're yelling and things like that. Show your child, hey, when there's a disagreement, this is how we actually go through it. This is how your mom and I are actually going to solve these things. You don't say that. Say, hey, we're going to fight right now. Watch how we handle it. Don't say that. But when something happens, a disagreement happens, you should be able to say, okay, let me hear your side. Let's think of a way we can compromise. However you decide to do it. Now, what does this all mean? This all means that the work for children, if we want our children to be a zinat for us, that means we have to be worthy of being a zinat in the first place. That however much we want to say, yes, I want my kid to beautify themselves and be a legacy for me, well, we've got to be worth it. We have to have some value too. If I'm not going to live up to the standards of Imam Ali and Bibi Fatima, how am I going to get a Zaynab or Hasan or Hussein or an Abbas or Kulthum? It's not going to happen. Don't imagine we can create these children if we ourselves are not going to have those high status and being those parents which have been set as role models. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And I'll end for tonight with just the English translation of what we have in Sahifa Sajjadiyya in terms of the rights that the children have over the parents, right? Because parents always want to know about, hey, these are the rights that I've got over you. Like, okay, let's remember the rights that children have over us, right? Again, I'm just going to do the English quickly. The right of your child is that you should know that they are from you. They will be ascribed to you in this dunya based on both your good deeds and your evil deeds. It's a full package, right? It's not just the good stuff, the bad stuff. People say that this child's running around and speaking like this, and it happens all the time. Like, I wonder what his parents are teaching him at home, right? That's what happens. And you are responsible for what has been entrusted to you in teaching them good conduct, right? They're amanat. We have to treat our amanat properly. We're responsible for giving them that good conduct in the first place, that proper adab. Guiding them towards Allah, their Rabb, helping them obey Allah on your behalf and for themselves. Then you will be rewarded for doing so. You'll be punished also if you haven't done your duty. Then regarding their affairs, act like somebody who will be proud of bringing them up in this world. Don't be one of those who are like, I don't even want to mention my children. I don't even want to talk about it with other people because I'm not proud of what happened, right? No, it's okay that, sometimes we do make mistakes. I make mistakes constantly with my kids too. It happens. The idea for all parenting is not to make sure we're throwing the blame on them and say, okay, where do I take it back to myself? This behavior that I see in them, I know that the source is coming from me somehow. How do I figure that out? Now, if we're lucky, we're able to catch this when the kids are younger. When the kids are younger and we catch this, then we have time to repair, right? Especially, again, that 0 to 7 phase. If they can see, look, and especially this is where apologizing is really, really important. To come to a child and to say, look, the way that I spoke to you, the way I acted with you, that was not right, and I'm sorry. I'm going to try my best not to do it again, but I need your help. If you see me acting in a way that I shouldn't, I need you to come and correct me. That's how a child can be a zinat for you. When they can actually come and correct you. Not some people who come and say, oh, my child, they say this to me and they think they know better than me. Well, maybe they do sometimes. Maybe they've got it right. Maybe they've got a better idea about Islam than you and I might have as parents. And sometimes they might call us out on those things. I've mentioned some of these stories before, so I don't want to mention them again. And we actually should be striving for this. I really hope, and we should all hope, that our kids and our grandkids are exponentially better than us in their Islamic journey. Right? Maybe you and I may not be those who are going to be with the Imam at the time. Maybe not. But at least we can say, Ya Imam Zaman, at least my kids and my grandkids will, because I'm trying to leave some legacy. And maybe that'll be enough for you. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I think that's it for tonight before all these parents come after me and then start yelling at me. We'll move on to our quiz for tonight with another salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So as we're waiting for people to log in, I hope that the takeaway that we have for tonight is, this, again, especially for us as parents, who want our children to really be these trophies. We want to be able to show them off to everybody else. As we're doing that, we have to make sure we are not zalimeen ourselves, right? To make sure we have these rights, we have these rights over children, sure. But we have to make sure that we're not abusing those rights, right? We're not demanding that my children shouldn't be this and this and this. We have to make sure that what we're doing, we go above and beyond just the ahkam and the fiqh, and that we're acting in a way that our children are better than us. One day we'll figure out how to get actual names there instead of these icons. One day, inshallah. Okay, media, whenever you're ready, let's get started, inshallah. Okay, good luck to everybody. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Zaynab means what? Does it mean a father's zina, a beautiful, scenic, fragrant tree, both A and B, or those first two things, I guess, or none of the above? What does Zaynab mean? Oh, that was fast. That's scary if it's that fast. Hey, you got to show the results. What are you doing? Yes. So most of you said Zaynab. So there's two possible meanings for it. One, which we all famously know, is that it means a zina for a father, right? Zainul Ab. But the word Zaynab itself also does mean a fragrant, scenic tree. It does actually have that meaning, so it is both A and B. I didn't mention tonight, but I mentioned it before, so if you didn't know that, then that's because you haven't paid attention for the past 2-3 years, sorry. Okay, question number 2. Who chose the name Zaynab, alayhi salam? Who gave her this name? Who's the one who named her? Was it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Imam Ali alayhi salam, or Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam? Now at this point, if you've done enough of these quizzes, this one should be easy. I guess not. So, when Bibi Fatima asked Imam Ali, what are we going to name our daughter? Imam Ali says, I will never go forward and go ahead of Rasulullah. They wait for Rasulullah, because I think he was away. When he came back, he said, Rasulullah, what do we name? He's like, I'll never go forward before Allah. So he waited for Jibreel to come down and say, this is what Allah wants you to name her. And the name given was Zaynab. The default answer is always Allah, by the way. All right, let's see what we've got first after the first two questions. It looks like first place is Verstappen. What is that? I have no idea which German individual is playing or what this is, but okay. 1910. Fatima Ali in second place, and everybody else really, really far behind, and Agent X9, whatever that. I don't know what's going on with these names today, but oh yeah, I forgot they're just given randomly, right? If you don't choose your own. Okay. All right, 2 more questions left. Number 3. Where do historians believe Bibi Zaynab alayha salam is buried? Is in Sham, in Cairo, in Jannat-ul-Baqi', or all of the above? Where do historians believe Bibi Zaynab alayha salam is buried? Aha, so okay, you have been paying attention over the years, that's good. Yes, there is a difference of opinion among our ulama. Many say Sham, some say there's strong evidence, as they do have the place you can go visit. There's a Haram al-Dhari in Cairo. And some ulama say no, she may have died in Medina and be buried in Jannatul Baqi. So all of the above is the correct answer. Good. Okay, final question. Which city effectively serves as the administrative capital of the Palestinian territories? Is it Al-Khalil, which is Hebron, Beit Laham or Bethlehem, Al-Quds, Jerusalem, or Ramallah? Aha, most of you got that. Very good. Ramallah is the effective capital right now. And one day, inshallah, it'll be Al-Quds, as it should be. Okay, let's see. Let's see if okay. I think Verstappen has been stopped. That's good. No, still first place. Oh, I guess, wherever it is, good job. I don't even know what Verstappen means, but congratulations to you. 3,739 points, very good. And I think, was it Qamber in second place? And Specialist in third place. Very good. Congratulations. Once again, and Eid Mubarak, Kushali Mubarak to all of you. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu Muhammad wa ala ahl baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sayyid Hasan Rizvi, respected elders, brothers, sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On the joyous occasion of the Wiladat of Sayyidah Zaynab Salamullah alayha, on behalf of the Managing Committee and the Board of Trustees, we wish you all Kushali Mubarak. On this joyous occasion, the Managing Committee is pleased to record and announce the engagement of Ali, son of Femina and Shabir Manikia of Orlando, to Ayman, daughter of Zaynab and Rizwan Jagani of New York. Bar Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad salawat. Now I'd like to invite our President, Brother Mahmoud Dala, to come forward and address the community. Bar Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad salawat. Just tell him.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. My dear sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of the Managing Committee and the Board of Trustees, I would like to wish you all Kushali Mubarak. I want him to come. Where is he? Sorry, 1 second. Brother Mohsin. Mohsin, please come and sit here. Please come and sit here. To say, today, I stand before you with deep gratitude in my heart as we take a moment to acknowledge and thank someone truly exceptional. In the fabric of our community, there exists a thread of selflessness and dedication woven by individuals who go above and beyond. It is an honor to express our heartfelt appreciation to Brother Mohsin Jan Muhammad, whose unwavering commitment as a volunteer has left an inedible mark on all our hearts. Volunteering is not just about giving time, it's about giving a piece of oneself. Brother Mohsin has been sacrificing days and nights, making sure we all have our media working flawlessly. Brother Mohsin will now be leaving us as he moves to Toronto to explore whiter pastures. Brother Mohsin, we will miss you dearly here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you in your next chapter with lots and lots of barakah. Your service to this community for over 2 decades will be forever etched in our hearts. On behalf of the entire community, Asante Sana. Best of luck, and please do not be a stranger. I would like to request Sayyid Hasan to come forward and present a small token to Brother Mohsin to remember us by. Please recite Surah Mubarak al-Fatiha and a salawat. Thank you, Sayyid. Thank you, Sayyid. Brother Mohsin, stand right here. Please do not leave. Now, for a special gift that his dear friend, Mufti Yusuf Ali, who is our secretary, has it ready for him. A small shovel that will help him in Toronto to shovel all the snow that is there. Please recite another salawat. Thank you, Brother Mohsin. Thank you. And whenever I see volunteers like these, I always look to their parents. So, Malim, thank you for raising the children that serve this community with all their hearts. My dear sisters and brothers, I have a second piece of announcement today. By the grace of the Almighty, on behalf of the Management Committee and the Board of Trustees, I'm very pleased to announce that we have obtained the site plan approval from the county for Project Orange. Salawat. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guiding and supporting our efforts. This is a big milestone, my dear sisters and brothers. We're now in the process of handing over the project from the engineers to the general contractors. As promised, we will be setting up an SGM to collectively discuss the next steps, inshallah. This is scheduled to be held on Saturday, December 2nd in the evening. Please mark your calendars and we will send an invite shortly. It is important that we have the entire community present so we can have meaningful discussions. We are starting to plan the groundbreaking at the same time, and inshallah we'll try to have more details to you by the SGM. My dear sisters and brothers, in order to start the construction, we must collect funds now so we can prepare the scheduling of the construction and not lose time. Please start sending your donations right away to help us get off the ground. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out. I look forward to seeing you all on December 2nd, inshallah, and I look forward to our discussion then. Let us pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He further guides us and helps us achieve our goal to provide a new home for our youth and children, for they have been waiting for far too long now. Ameen. With that, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
मालिके मुल्क का है अनोखा करम,
मालिके मुल्क का है अनोखा करम, घर में ज़हरा की बिंतुल हुदा गई, गोद में लेके मौला अली ने कहा, गोद में लेके मौला अली ने कहा, ज़ीनते मुस्तफ़ा मुर्तज़ा गई। मालिके मुल्क का है अनोखा करम, मालिके मुल्क का है अनोखा करम, घर में ज़हरा की बिंतुल हुदा गई।
बादशाह पीर दी को बचाती रही,
नंगे सर खुतबे पर के सुनाती रही,
बादशाह पीर दी को बचाती रही, नंगे सर खुतबे पर के सुनाती रही। तू इमामत को हर जा बचाती रही,
तू इमामत को हर
जा बचाती रही, तेरे दम से इमामत फतह पा गई। मालिके
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि
मालिके मुल्क का है अनोखा करम, मालिके मुल्क का है अनोखा करम, घर में ज़हरा की बिंतुल हुदा गई। तेरा नाना रसूलों का सरदार है,
तेरा बाबा खुदाई का मुख्तार
کا سردار ہے، تیرا بابا خدائی کا مختار ہے، تیری نانی ہے اسلام کی محسنہ، تیری نانی ہے اسلام کی محسنہ، تیری ماں بن کے خیر النساء آ گئی، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، گھر میں زہرا کی بنت الہدا آ گئی، شام کے قید میں جا کے دیکھو ذرا، ابھی آتی ہے ہر سو یہی کی صدا، شام کے قید میں جا کے دیکھو ذرا، ابھی آتی ہے ہر سو یہی کی صدا، ہوشیار ہوشیار اے یزید ہوشیار، ہوشیار ہوشیار اے یزید ہوشیار، دیکھ لے دختر فاطمہ آ گئی، مالک یا علی اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، گھر میں زہرا کی بنت الہدا آ گئی، کر چکی ہے فتح کوفہ و کربلا، ہے یزیدی حکومت پہ اب زلزلہ، کر چکی ہے فتح کوفہ و کربلا، ہے یزیدی حکومت میں اب زلزلہ، کر بزرگوں کی سنت پہ تو بھی عمل، کر بزرگوں کی سنت پہ تو بھی عمل، باغ جا دختر مرتضیٰ آ گئی، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، گھر میں زہرا کی بنت الہدا آ گئی، جب حسن کی ضرورت تھی شابر بنی، بعد اکبر کے زینب ہی اکبر بنی، جب حسن کی ضرورت تھی شابر بنی، بعد اکبر کے زینب ہی اکبر بنی، لہجہ مرتضیٰ اور کبھی فاطمہ، لہجہ مرتضیٰ اور کبھی فاطمہ، بن کے زینب رسول خدا آ گئی، یا علی، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، مالک ملک کا ہے انوکھا کرم، گھر میں زہرا کی بنت الہدا آ گئی، گود میں لے کے مولا علی نے کہا، گود میں لے کے مولا علی نے کہا، زینت مصطفیٰ مرتضیٰ آ گئی، محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم، ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے، ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے، ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے، نظر نہ آتا تھا خدا دکھا دیا حسین نے، ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے، ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے، وہ نور ہے تو خاک ہے بشر تیری بساط کیا، وہ نور ہے تو خاک ہے بشر تیری بساط کیا بنا کے خاک کو شفا دکھا دیا حسین نے
یا علی اللہم صلی علی محمد.
ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے. علی کا یہ بھی شعر ہے یہ تیر سے ڈرے گا کیا علی کا یہ بھی شعر ہے یہ تیر سے ڈرے گا کیا پسر کو ہاتھ پہ اٹھا ہنسا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے. عرش فرش پہ ہر جگہ حسین ہی حسین ہے عرش فرش پہ ہر جگہ حسین ہی حسین ہے وجود ہی یزید کا مٹا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے. اے موت تو نے سورما بڑے بڑے ہرا دیے اے موت تو نے سورما بڑے بڑے ہرا دیے مگر تجھے بھی ہے قضا ہرا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے نظر نہ آتا تھا خدا دکھا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے ہر ایک دل میں کربلا بسا دیا حسین نے.
بن محمد و آل محمد صلوات. زیارت. السلام علیک یا رسول اللہ السلام علیک یا امیر المؤمنین السلام علیک یا فاطمة الزہراء سیدتی نساء العالمین السلام علیک یا حسن المجتبى السلام علی الحسین وعلى علی ابن الحسین وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي السلام عليك يا حجة الله يا ابن الحسن يا صاحب العصر والزمان سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقاعدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.